So Southampton 1, Arsenal 0, 3 losses on the spin. We're down to 6th. If West Ham beat Burnley tomorrow, we're down to 7th. Trust the process, Kenny. What happened today?
Well, first and foremost, your first signature sentence is the process. Well, does the process involve losing 3 consecutive games to Crystal Palace, Brighton at home, and Southampton? Because if that's the process, then that's a hard sell. And sorry, I'm not paying or buying into it. But if we go look in the context of the game, morale was very high because Spurs lost in the 90th minute to Trossard, who scored last week against us at the Emirates Stadium. So you go into that game and said, you know what, phew, the door's open. Spurs have left the back door open. What do? It was the whole intent of the game. I had no problem with the formation. I even had no problem with the midfielders, Xhaka and Albert in there. But it's the way we played. It was like played at a very pedestrian pace. It was sluggish. There was no urgency. We weren't getting in behind. I know Eddie was working those channels, and we just weren't opening up. And the times we opened up, Fraser Forster made a really, really good, good save. But going into that, first half, getting the, half-time oranges, there was nothing in it. And then for some reason, Southampton get a corner. It gets flicked back in. Elinovici wins the ball, and two pulled chops cost us big time. First, Ben White, trying to feign injury, and then you've got Gabriel playing run offside. That's not good enough, so he can't react. So when Ben White's in the position to sort of react to, Benderek, he's feigning injury. What were they expecting? There was no offside in it. No offside in it, thanks to Gabriel. So it's just kind of softness because once you can see the goal like that so badly, all it does is give Southampton, a team that got beat 6-0. Yes, 6-0 at home to Chelsea. It gives them this impetus to have what they hold. So everything you try, it's going to be difficult. But if we go back that first half, what was Cedric doing taking those free kicks? I don't mind him taking the free kicks because he takes good corners. But if you're going for goal, at least hit the bloody target. But, after the first free kick, you said, no, it's all right, let's try something different. But he does it again. That just summed us all up. I mean, Xhaka, all over the place. Odegaard, given enough space because Southampton, had men behind the ball. Just couldn't open that door. Saka, started on the left-hand side. Didn't do too badly. Protected Tovage. Second half, every time he, tried to cut in on that right foot, it's like Southampton has done their homework and bust us out. I think that's what's really happened is that take away Forster's, great saves. Although, Xhaka one, I think that one's going wide anyway. The fact is, teams are working us out.
And that's because we've only got one style of play, really. And that style of play is give it to Saka and hope that something happens.
Just like last season. Smith Rowe's just gone completely off the ball. I have no problem in being on the bench. When he came on, he had that shot that, got a bit deflection of Foster saved it. But apart from that, no impact whatsoever. Pepe, not giving enough time, in my opinion. But again, no impact. So where's the confidence gone? I mean, Eddie Nketiah, I know you're leaving at the end of the season. I respect that. But come on, put in a bit of shift. You're starting games, show a bit of anger towards, the fans who write you off like myself. Show a bit of anger towards the manager who doesn't pick you and prove us wrong. But today, you didn't utilise, the fact, your strengths, which is your pace to get in behind. The ball ball was there to play in behind you. You didn't do it. It's not good enough, man. Especially when you're trying to, vie for the top 4. Especially when your rivals are basically leaving their back doors open. Every team from, I say, February onwards have basically left the back door open and left the windows open. With not just left the window open, they left the ladder in for someone to climb in to an empty house. And yet, at a critical time after the international break, nothing. We've found a way to play ourselves into horrendous form. horrendous
What
morale.
do you put that down to, though? Because people are going to use the excuse about Tierney being out and Partey being out. And listen, you've said for a while Partey's been our best player.
Well,
he's
our team. He's our team. But, you know, I'll tell you where the problem is that let's not forget that we raised concerns even when we win in those games. We didn't have many concerns against Leicester and Aston Villa. But again, in the 2 games against Wolves, we were very concerned. The fact that we, you know, left it late to beat Wolves at the Emirates, away from home, even though, you know, we went out of 10 men. We were letting teams, you know, come at us, and teams were beginning to work as that. Just that Wolves weren't good enough to, you know, like capitalise on that. But when teams know they're playing Arsenal, you have enough time to prepare after the international break. Players come back; they're not at their fittest, and I'm not just talking physically, but mentally as well. What will happen is that if you're not at it, especially when teams are beginning to work you out, then you're going to struggle, and that's what we did. Crystal Palace battered us, got in our faces. You know, knew full well that we like to play the ball pretty quickly. We give up possession a lot under Arteta. We're not a possession-based team under Arteta like we were against us with Arsene. So Leicester staying against Unai Emery, we tend to use our pacey players to get in behind teams. And once you stop us from doing that, then what will happen? What will happen is that you need someone like Ben White to run out of the ball, and Partey to run out of the ball to do that. If Ben White's not able to do that, and Partey's not there to do it, then what happens? We become predictable, and teams just put banks on 4, and they know full well that they stop the out ball coming. It's going to be very difficult for to get Saka in the game. So when we try to pass the ball, when Saka and Martinelli eventually get the ball, because we're not using the out ball and we're not using those overlaps, by the time they get the ball, they got back 2 banks of 4 in front of them, and they're just putting crosses in, which are going to get headed out all the time. That's what's changed since the international break. We haven't got a plan.
Why do you think that Pepe don't get a look in? Like, and why do you think the narrative is that he's had so many opportunities? Because, like, somebody in my chat earlier said that he's had so many opportunities to play in that, blah blah blah. So I went and had a look how many minutes he's played this season in the league. He's played 610 minutes before today. Yeah,
that's horrendous. That's horrendous.
Context, right? Martinelli has played double, and Saka has played 4 times more minutes. So why do you think that he ain't giving him a chance? And why do you think our fans think he has had a chance?
Well, our fans are going to back the manager, because right now, if you know, the signature song is Saka and Smith Rowe, which means so they see Saka and Smith Rowe as the sort of our equivalent of Tobe and Dean. You know, I say that respectfully as well, but respectfully, I mean. But let's face it, Pepe does give us that dimension. But then again, you say that, but if you're bringing up a guy on with low confidence because you basically killed his confidence, then what you are going to get is him scared to express himself. He knows that if he misplaces a pass, you're going to give him daggers. If he doesn't sort of track back the left back, you're going to give him daggers. When really and truly, when we're a goal down, his job is to actually try and get us back in the game with a quick feet. But again, what's happening right now is that teams are working us out and not letting us play that long pass in order to get us into the game. Another thing as well, you know, we have to be honest with ourselves. Saka's just playing way too well in that position at the right-hand side, to the extent that there's actually kind of a partnership with the right back. You know, previously it was Tomiyasu, and previously with Cedric. So I suppose from a tactical point of view, that's why he ain't playing him. But
then on
played Saka on the left-hand side. So you can still switch.
Why have you changed that today?
Because, you know, he did that in the first half. He placed Saka on the left-hand side of playing Martin only down the right. You know, in order,
which makes no sense, because we see Martinelli do most of his good work on the left, and Saka on the right. Now he switched it.
See, and that's the thing. When you take away your strengths, or Southampton will say, "Thanks, mate. Thank you very much." But you know what they you know, it's our manager just trying to be too clever for his own good. And that's one of the reasons why you buy in a January transfer market, because you don't just buy a striker, which we obviously need, but you also buy other players, because what will happen is that if someone gets injured or teams are working you out, you have a plan B. we haven't got the personnel for a plan B, and that's down to Arteta. Arteta, I repeat, and I'm not going to be shut up about this, is part of the transfer committee. Mikel Arteta is the team manager. So please stop saying that the board haven't backed this guy and that, you know, he can only work with what he's got. Maybe so, but he does have a say. He was in the United States during the winter break. He was in the United States. What was he doing?
Mate, we lost 3 games. Yeah, we lost 3 games. I think it was, and the reward for that for this football club was to take them all to Dubai. It's like
I don't.
If
that's going to relax them, you know, they're going to get a bonding session. Fair enough, but the fact is, you've left yourself without the ability to create a plan B because you haven't got the personnel. Your manager, who's part of the transfer committee, was in the United States speaking directly to the owner, where he could have made a case for that season, because the January transfer market, right? He was still out there during the January transfer market. He wasn't afterwards. So there was a case, you know, case example. But even before he was out there, he is part of the transfer committee. He should have a say. He should know what he wants for his squad, doesn't he? Shouldn't he?
He's been backed. Yeah, he's been backed, and now it's time to sack. And on that bombshell,
£250 million he's been backed. And the fact is, Leicester
and that starting 11 today has Eddie Nketiah.
Leicester on a sabbatical. Leicester on a sabbatical. Spurs on a sabbatical. Man United on a sabbatical.
Anyone missing?
So basically, the top 4 was on, and they're for taking, and he's blown it.
And we gave away our best striker to play one up front today that's got 0 league goals. Comedy club. Listen, we're going to do player ratings.
Arteta ball.
You can't see what he's doing, Kenny. You can F off down the lane, mate.
I'm going to be there on the 12th of May. I'm going to be there on the 12th of May supporting my team Arsenal, by the way. So I will be effing off down the lane on the 12th of May. So backing my boys whilst a lot of people who slag me off, I'll be watching their nice warm abodes, wherever they are in the world.
We're going to do player ratings in about half an hour, yeah?
And, well, I'm ready. I ain't got much to do. I've only got a cat to kick. Oh, sorry, you can't say that. You can't say that, can you? Use that expression.
Kenny Zuma.
Oh, no. The RSPCA are going to zoom me and go after me. Oh, you can't say that. Oh, I'll smash the window then.
You get done for criminal damage, mate.
Well, not on my own ass, I won't.
I'll see you soon. Take care, man. I'll chat around.